Welcome to the Love Well by Doing Good podcast. I'm your host, Sandy Corrigan. I am so glad you're here. Right off the bat, I just want you to know this isn't just another podcast about business or life hacks. It's really about something deeper. This is about love. It's not the fluffy, romantic kind. See, I'm already teary, but that's okay. Because I'm just going to be real on this podcast, and I hope that everybody that comes on is too. So it's not about the fluffy kind of romantic love. That it's the kind of love that, you roll up your sleeves and you actually do something. It's the love that changes families, and it's the love that transforms businesses, and it's the love that leaves the world a better place, which we really need right now. And I really believe that love always has to look like something. And so that's why we're here together. We're going to discover what it means every single day to love well by doing good. So I want to tell you why I'm even doing the podcast. In my own journey, which has been a lot of years, I've had seasons of building successful businesses. I've raised a family, and now I'm actually helping to raise my grandkids. And I have a great grandbaby also, unfortunately too far away, or I'd be really involved in his life too. But I've had a lot of seasons of also starting completely over with nothing. I've been at the very top and I've been at the very bottom. But through it all, that one truth has guided me always. What really matters is how we love. And I also learned something else, that love alone isn't enough. It really has to show up. And it has to take shape, and it has to be visible. I remember asking myself in that one of the hardest seasons. I thought that was the hardest season. Actually, I think the season I'm in is the hardest. So I'm really asking this a lot. What does love look like today? What does love well by doing good look like today? And I get up in the morning, and the first thing I do is I think about that. I think about the aspects of my day. With my husband, with my animals, I have horses and a dog, with friends, on a Zoom with someone, with my kids. What does it look like if I'm going to live what I say, love well by doing good? And at that time in my life, at that really hard season, sometimes the answer was like really big dreams, and sometimes it was just really small, like all I can do today is be kind to the clerk at the grocery store. Or I could write a note, or call a friend or text a friend who was struggling, and I could do something to love someone else today. And then over time, that question, what does love well by doing good look like today, really became the heartbeat of my life. And eventually, it became, in my mind, a movement. And that's what I'm hoping to create with you, is a movement. I also believe that when businesses, because I have a lot of people that I coach in business and deal with a lot of small business owners, especially, sometimes larger organizations, but mostly small business, when they ask the question, what does love look like today, or what does love well by doing good look like, they don't just grow profits, they create impact. And when leaders ask the question, they don't just manage people, they transform lives. And when each of us ask that question every single day, the ripple effect is unstoppable. And so that's why this podcast exists, to remind me that love in action can literally reshape the way we live, work, and lead. So I want to tell you a little bit about what you can expect, although I will tell you, I love creativity, so I might change my mind. Or I might add some things or take some things away. But right now, here's the plan. So every time we do a podcast, we'll share stories. And stories from business owners or leaders and just everyday people who are weaving purpose into their work and life. And we'll talk about the challenges and the victories and the messy middle. I have so much messy middle, do you? Anyway, we'll explore how to align your business with your bigger why, and how to find your own courage to live authentically. And sometimes it'll just be me sharing tools and reflections, and other times I'll sit down with guests. And I hope that I can sit down with a lot of guests so you can hear from other people who are out there changing the world in their own way. And every single time we will come back to that question, What does love well by doing good look like today? So before I have a guest on, I'm going to ask them to really think about that question so that they can share with you how they're doing it, or maybe why they're challenged in trying to do it, or even maybe they've tried to do it and failed. So since this is the first episode, I thought I would share something personal with you. I talked a little bit about that hard season of my life. And so many years ago, like 25 years ago, actually, I hit what I call my time of everything and nothing. I was living on the East Coast. We had moved there to start a church that our goal was to really support and impact the community around us. I loved what I did. I loved seeing people's lives touched and changed. But after many years of struggle in my marriage finally broke. And with leaving the marriage, I also had to leave the ministry I had poured 18 plus years into. And I actually thought I was done. And I actually thought God was done with me. Like, I'm just done. I was suddenly homeless, a single mom of 2 teenage daughters, no job, no money, no belongings, and most painful of all, pretty much lost most of my friends. So by the world's standards, I had nothing. But in a strange way, I remember thinking, I now have everything. Like, I have every possibility ahead of me. That thought kept me going. I think that thought was actually directly from God, or I wouldn't have been continuing on. Anyway, my sister Nancy, who's one of my closest friends, my sisters are probably my best friends. She still worked in the cosmetic industry, an industry I'd spent many years in, before doing the work of ministry. She stepped in to help me, and she got me a job managing or directing a Victoria's Secret beauty store. So I was back in the cosmetic industry. Here's the part I'll never forget. So it's my first day on the job. I cried all the way there. I just remember, I just cried all the way there because I thought, oh my gosh, I've come from this job I love and this life-changing experience for me and other people, and I'm going to go back into like lipstick and mascara. And so my very first assignment was to go out into the mall and demonstrate lotion and fragrance. And for any of you who've been shopping in the mall, no one wants that job because no customers want you spreading lotion or spraying fragrance on them. It's like you're the plague when you approach them and try. And there I was, already raw. I was grieving. I was feeling invisible. I was feeling not valuable at all. Like I really did have nothing, even with this everything before me. And it was really early in the morning, so the mall was really empty. And the tears that were my constant companion in those days, even like now, as I tell the story, they're just right on the edge, ready to fall. And I can still feel the weight of that moment. I felt so small and so unseen and so fragile. But sometimes when I felt the most invisible, God's given me the chance to see somebody else. So an older woman and her adult son were walking toward me, and she had this really pretty sweater on. And without even thinking, I just said, well, what a beautiful sweater you have. And so she stopped and she smiled and she came over thanking me. She asked what I was sampling. Heavenly, I told her. And that was the name of the fragrance. And I laugh now at the irony after all the years I spent in church ministry. And then here I am demoing heavenly fragrance in the middle of the mall. Little theme here. So she agreed to try it. And as I held her hand, massaging in the lotion, she began to share a story with me. Her son had actually brought her to the mall that day. He was there with her, kind of off in the distance. He didn't want any heavenly on his hands. He came to the mall to buy her a gift because she was scheduled for surgery in just a few days. And so I just had this sense to gently ask her what the surgery was for. Just felt like there was an opening there. And her eyes just filled with tears as she told me she had cancer and the prognosis was not good. I remember looking really deep into her eyes, and right there in the middle of the mall, I asked her if I could pray for her. And she said, "Thank you, please." So I did. I was telling my sister this story in preparation and my daughter last night, and my sister said, "Oh my gosh, you probably would have gotten fired if they'd known you were praying for somebody," but they didn't. So I prayed, tears in both of our eyes. I asked God for healing for her and for peace and for strength and for successful surgery and outcome. And in that moment, surrounded by the mall was starting to get busy and you could smell perfume everywhere. And there was just in the middle of all that, just this atmosphere of sacred peace. We embraced. Her son bought her a beautiful set of heavenly products for her to take with her to the hospital. And as I watched her leave inside, where I hear that still small voice, I heard it's all the same to me. Love always looks like something, whether you're in a church or in a mall with lotion samples, or when you're at a gas station or grocery store or on Zoom in a meeting. If you just pay attention with love as your intention, you can make a difference. And that moment, that was 25 years ago. And that moment changed me forever. Because I realized just no matter where you are or whether you feel on top of the world or your life is totally falling apart, love is always the assignment. I sometimes feel like maybe I was even more impactful when I had nothing. When I had nothing left except the person in front of me and the opportunity. And so that's at least the impetus or start of this whole idea. I didn't capture it in the words "love well by doing good," but that's really where it took root. And this isn't about waiting for perfect conditions, as you can see by my story. And it's not about waiting till your life looks shiny on the outside, even though some of us present that. And I know my friends on Facebook are like, "Oh, your life's so amazing." And I probably should tell more stories about how not amazing it is. But I like to encourage people. But I might do more of that. I certainly will on this podcast. But it is about asking right here in this moment, as you're listening, and I wish we were face to face with coffee between us. But right here in this moment, what does it look like? Because sometimes it does look like praying for a stranger in a mall, or just saying a kind word. Or maybe sometimes it looks like mentoring a young leader. Or it looks like holding the hand of your daughter, or showing up for your team or your group of people, your community in some significant or small way. Because love really has endless forms, but it always takes action. So here's my invitation to you right now at the very beginning. I don't want you to just listen. I really want you to participate. And at the end of every episode, I'm going to ask you to pause and reflect on the question, what does love well by doing good look like for you today? Or for me today? Maybe it's calling your mom. I wish I could call my mom. She's not here anymore. So maybe it's calling somebody who is. Maybe it's being generous. Maybe it's giving yourself grace in a season of great struggle. Maybe it's aligning your business for purpose before profit. I love to do that with small business owners. It's my favorite thing. But here's what I promise you. When you answer that question with action, even in the smallest ways, your own life will begin to shift. So, thanks for being here at this first episode, at the start of this journey together on the podcast. Because it's not just my podcast. I really don't want this to be just my podcast. I want it to be our podcast. A community, a movement of people that get up every morning and ask that question, what does love look like today in my everything I do? So I hope you subscribe, share this with a friend. Join me again next time as we continue to explore this idea of how to love well by doing good. And until then, remember this. Love matters, but it has to look like something. So I'm going to ask you the question. What does love look like? What does love look like today for me? What does love look like today? I'll see you and talk to you next time.